Do I mute myself or are you muting me? We are on standby on the standby screen on both platforms. We have one viewer on each platform. Three and 2 on YouTube.
As far back as I can remember, I filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I have experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. I invite you to follow me into the unknown. Welcome to the Necromancer Live Show. Hello, friends. Welcome back. We're going to try this, the Necromancer Show graphics tonight. And I changed around a few things. I'm playing around with a few things. I want to take my time and see what I decide to end up with and how I'm going to do it. But my goal is to get back to the Necromancer live show and make that show a permanent thing again and a consistent thing. So welcome to the show tonight. We're going to be talking about the legitimacy of ITC, anywhere from spirit boxes all the way down to pendulums and Ouija boards. Okay, we're going to talk about all of it, and it's going to be fun. But before we do that, we're going to catch everyone up on the personal life. Filtered, because no one wants to hear about me going to the bathroom.
Casey has to have 4 teeth pulled on Monday.
What?
Yep.
4?
4.
God, that's gotta suck.
He will be put to sleep. So hopefully.
They're putting him under?
Yep.
Oh, man. That's serious. Is he scared?
Yep.
Has he ever been put under anesthesia?
Yeah, once then he was like 10.
Oh, God. That's so long ago.
Well, actually, when he was 4 and 5, he was put to sleep once a month. For the entire year he was 4.
Does he remember that?
No.
Okay, so, wow. Sorry, Casey, to hear that. If you're watching this, that sucks. Real bad. So there's a lot of our friends that are making the trip to Gettysburg for the bash. Yeah. We're not going this year. It's sad, but can't help it.
Antonio and Cindy messaged me this afternoon. Are you going to the bash? Will we see you this weekend?
No. My bad. Sorry. So won't be. You'll see Josh Bender. I don't know if Jess went with him. Do you know if she did?
I don't know.
Josh is definitely going to be there, and we'll have to be there in spirit. So maybe next year we'll be there. Maybe. We'll see. But at any rate, welcome to the show. Are you ready to talk about this? I know, talking to what we call the dead is kind of your jam, Missy. So you hopefully, you won't be as, lost in the conversation as prior topics, hopefully. And
I won't be as lost as last week, I promise.
That's cool. I don't like it when you're lost because it's just not fun. I want you to at least feel like you know what's going on and you have, stuff you want to say about it. So that's cool. I think we should start off by before I start, please, you see people, say hi to them. If they got questions, comments, please interrupt me. I don't care. That's what you're here for. But I think we should start off by setting the tone here. I believe that there are things that are communicating with us multiple ways. I feel like even though I may be wrong, I don't know how often I'm wrong, but I know I can't be right about all the things I believe. But when you feel like you see a sign from a loved one or a sign from maybe a spirit guide or somebody out there that's kind of trying to say something to you, I feel like there's signs that we look towards, and you can't help to wonder, like, does that mean something? Is that more than what it appears to be? And that's one end of the spectrum. And if you go to the other end of the spectrum, you full on hear voices. You full on think that you're hearing voices on radios. You feel like you're talking to people on the telephone that are no longer with us. There's all sorts of different instances of instrumental trans communication, which is what ITC means, if you did not know. And I feel like it's very important. It's probably one of the most important topics in the paranormal when it comes to investigating it and the occult in general. So talking to the dead is what I feel like is probably on the top 3 most important thing. Paranormalists, people in the cult, people in the metaphysical realm, people in the spiritual practices claim they do, something they try to do, something they believe is possible, and they believe they do it. Essentially every day, if not every day, it's often. Okay? Anyone from people who've lost loved ones, friends, relatives, people who are just really interested in the topic, people who are really interested in life after death, they want to know if they're able to communicate with those that have passed. And I feel like my 10 years, I've just now got around to realizing that we're not always right about these things. And I feel like we are right, but we doubt. So on one end of the spectrum, we are fooled into believing that we are, and the other in the spectrum, we are definitely most likely communicating with those that are past, but we could be doubting it, or maybe completely, unaware. So my beginnings in this type of research and phenomena pretty much dealt with electronic devices. Before I got into paranormal investigation research, all that, I watched TV shows like a lot of people did. And it started popping off in the mid to late 2000s, and then the 2010s it was really popular, and that's when I started watching all the TV shows, and I'm like, if these wazoos can do it, I can do it. I want to know if there's any legitimacy to it. So one of the takeaways from the show tonight is what TV and entertainment does is it manipulates you. Okay? It's always seems to manipulate you in some other way. And I don't want to say manipulate like it's always a bad thing. When you turn on the television or go on the internet, you're looking to escape reality. You're looking to be distracted from work and everything that sucks about your life, or that's just monotonous and everything like that. You don't want to deal with it. You want to just escape for a little while. So when you do that, TV shows are designed to manipulate your mind in ways. Okay, so when the paranormal TV shows take things and cherry pick from paranormal history concerning instrumental transcommunication and kind of modernize it and kind of sensationalize it and make it appear like it's something you can do flipping a switch or snapping your fingers. So I will start off by saying that is not true. To actually speak to someone who has passed is rare, especially using a device. This is not a normal thing. That's why they call it paranormal. It is not natural. Unnatural things happen in our reality, and this is not something that's normal. It doesn't routinely happen throughout the day. It's very rare. Okay? So with that being said, all these different methods and devices I'm going to mention, I cannot say with 100% certainty that they are all false positives.
I have a question that is right along this line. So
Great.
Dig and Dad asked, he said, would love to hear your thoughts on random voice generators. I think they're cool and fun, but not sure they really, I really think they're real. Not sure that I really think they're real.
He's doubting that they are real is what he's saying.
Yeah.
So in psychology, when you look at how the human mind works, there's this thing called apophenia, I think it's called, or pareidolia. Okay, so the subset of I think it's apophenia. I'm tired, so I'm going to look up this. Let me look this up real quick. But basically, what you're dealing with is the mind making sense of random stimuli and finding patterns in it. So you do this in your visual cortex, and you do this in the part of the brain that hears too. So, and we're going to get into that, why your brain does that. It's apophenia, I want to say. Let me try to look that up. Apophenia. Yeah, apophenia. So, apophenia is the tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. Okay? The term was coined by psychiatrist Klaus Conrad in 1958. So, pareidolia is the tendency to perceive, or the tendency for perception to impose a meaningful interpretation on a nebulous stimuli, usually visual, but it can be audio. So this pareidolia is kind of honing in on what your brain's actually doing. Okay, you're finding patterns and random stimuli, and you're perceiving they have meaning, and you're seeing things You're recognizing things in them, like faces and voices. Okay? So when you have this endless stream of phonetics, which is what speech is made out of, you're going to hear words come out of there because it's randomized, and they're going to put two or one sound together, and they're going to be words. So your brain is constantly comparing these sounds and words and trying to make sense of them, and your brain is like an expert at assigning meaning to them. Okay, we can look at a blank wall and assign meaning to that. We're just really good at that. Okay, so you're on to something. You should be skeptical about those devices. Okay, so the first warning I will issue people is do not be so eager to go out there and try to find the voices of the dead or spirits. They are rare. And when they do come to you, they should come to you naturally or unnaturally, like I said before, but you should not have to resort to a device that spits out lots of audio real fast and in jumbled form, because that gives rise to the susceptibility to pareidolia. Okay, so that's what I would say about that. And I'm glad you asked that, because that's one of the main takeaways from this show is. But you have to really step back and define if you have a spirit communicating with you. Let's just say you're using a ghost box. Let's just say you're using an app, that has a phonetic generator. How do you know that that's what the spirit is doing to, is it manipulating the device? What you have to ask a question if you want to investigate this in a methodical way. Is the device being manipulated? So if it's being manipulated, there's some kind of anomalous phenomena happening. It's something that's anomaly. So you have to perform a rigorous experiment to figure out if it is anomalous. So if you tune into a radio station and it's broadcasting what it would normally broadcast, there's nothing anomalous there. But if you hear a voice come in that's not supposed to be there, okay, you might be onto something. Play two radios, sync together, same channel, same broadcast. If one doesn't have the anomaly and the other one does, that could be really good evidence that something altered the one radio or the one broadcast. So there are setups that I have suggested that test these things. Okay, you have to compare, you have to have variables and compare and see if there is something anomalous. Okay, so if you're just listening to one device that's spitting out all this stuff, you don't know what's anomalous. And this is easily testable, and my point is easily, put out there, because if you just turn on a ghost box and let it sweep through the stations, you're going to hear the same thing as if you were asking it questions. It's just going to have the same thing come out of it. I've done the research for a very long time. I've tried these devices. I've done everything in my power to understand what they do and how the brain works and how it's interpreted. So if you kind of take away that element and methodically go through all these different ways to see if there are any anomalies in the devices you are using, then you may be onto something. But no one really does that, and there could be reasons for that. One reason is it's really hard and painstaking to do that, and it resembles work a lot, and people do the ghost hunting for leisure, for hobby, to escape reality. They're not trying to go back to work when they do it. So that's one reason. Another reason is confirmation bias, their belief systems. What's up, Heath? I see you there. They're there, and they're constantly being reinforced by these devices that we're using, and we're not testing or scrutinizing or being skeptical of our own selves. The first thing you want to do as an investigator of such things is investigate yourself. Find the issues with yourself, your beliefs, your biases, your psychology, the way you perceive stimuli, and the things that go wrong, the flaws of your own perception. Really get a handle on that. And then once you come to that conclusion, then you can start methodically going through the process of seeing if these anomalies are in fact what you think they are. Go ahead and read Carmen's there. I see Carmen's got a
She
question.
said, "I don't like spirit boxes, honestly. I've tried using them a few times, but if it gets multiple voices coming through, I just like having my tape recorder and my tripwire." She said, "But who needs spirit boxes if you are able to auto hear voices when you're somewhat alone?"
Mm-hmm. So that's great. If you believe you have abilities, I believe people do have abilities to hear and sense things like that. But you also want to investigate that just like you're investigating a device. You don't want to have this uncanny 100% belief that you can do that all the time, every time you think you can. My suggestion would be to scrutinize yourself just as much as a device. What do you think about that statement I just made, Missy? Do you feel like that is a good idea? Do you feel like that's what you do, or if not, why?
The way that I do it is like, if me and you are standing here having a conversation, I can hear you, like, of course you're standing in front of me. So if I can't hear them like they're standing in front of me, I throw it away. Because was it what I thought it was, or was it something else?
Yeah. So, with that being said, if I was just now meeting Missy for the very first time and I heard her say that, I would be a liar if I said I thought she was nuts. So, after investigating and giving it time, what we've been able to do is legitimize the voices she's heard. Either through recording it while we don't hear it, but we still record it, or we hear it and record it. And that's rare when we actually get to hear what she hears. So, not only am I poo-pooing on what a lot of people do, I see a lot of people doing it wrong. Okay, and I do think that they're allowing themselves to be tricked. But on the other end, if I don't accept these results that we get, even though they're rare, I feel like it's detrimental, because it's so mind-blowing when you actually get good data from these experiments that we do, and using all the setups that I do. It's painstaking and hard work, but when we get it, you have to wonder, Missy's really hearing this like she says. It's like they're standing right there. It may be like we're talking right now, or it might be whispered.
Yep.
And a lot of voices are whispered. When I hear them recorded, they're whispered. And I don't know why. I don't know why they're whispered. Is it? Why do you think, Missy? Is it just because that's how it come across? That's all they can do, or is there an intent behind the whispering?
And you have to think about them as like everybody else. What are we doing when we're walking through there? Are we yelling, or are we whispering?
Right, but what if we're just talking normally, but we still get the whisper?
But if I'm standing over here in the corner and I don't want you to hear what I have to say, I want to,
So it's like they're directing it towards
Yes.
only one person, and they don't want others to hear.
Yes.
Because that's why you would whisper.
Right.
So that makes sense. That's common sense.
Or you're in a room where a whisper is required.
See, if I was a ghost, I wouldn't whisper.
I'd be screaming it from the rooftops.
But there's got to be a reason why they're doing it. Like it's rare when if you don't get a whisper. Like, it's even more rare if they speak normal tone or louder.
Yep.
But they do. So when you do a lot of the voices, usually it's not like a ITC voice, but it's usually like a scream or a yell or something loud that doesn't seem like it's interacting with you, but it manifests into physical acoustic energy.
Right.
It's I don't know if I'll ever figure out this stuff, but it's rewarding to me to know what's not paranormal, what's not a voice, and finding out what is a voice. Even though it's rare, I am good that it's rare, because I feel like if it was normal, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. It'd be just like, your everyday thing. It wouldn't be interesting.
Okay, so I have this comment on one platform and the same basic question on the other platform.
Nice.
Carmen said energy base. I think not enough energy to talk is loud. And then Diggin' Dad asked, could it have to do with the energy required?
Right. So very, very good point. So if you're thinking of somebody who is sick or ill, especially in their throat or lungs, they can't speak as loud. So they are low energy, or it might be a lot of effort just to get something out. So that is a very good possibility. I feel like that's something you definitely want to consider. Absolutely.
But in the Lee Allen Bryant building, when we heard that yell, that's what old people do.
Yeah, to me that was like maybe in a room behind a wall, but loud.
Yeah.
Not like screaming, but like elevated above normal volume that you would speak.
It was like she wanted you to know she was there.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a second to imagine you're walking through a rest home with elderly, and most of them are probably not well, or they wouldn't be there. So if you're walking by, if you're like a staff member or somebody just walking by, it sounded like to me as someone who really couldn't get words out, but wanted to kind of like whine or utter something in distress to let you know, hey, I'm here, please help.
Right.
I don't know. I have to listen to it again. It was just so strange. It sounded strange because it almost sounded like notes.
Right.
It was like it sounded female.
Right.
We'll have to listen to it again. Type 1 in the chat if you want to hear what we're talking about, and we'll go back and listen to it, and we'll get some feedback from the chat. It's very interesting.
Doctor said, I always wondered why they whispered. And then Diggin' Dad said, could have been residual too.
Absolutely. I mean, it could just be something that happens, and it doesn't matter, you're there.
Spirit Stalker said 1. Carmen said, I would love to hear it.
Okay. Spirit Stalker, do you remember? I mean, you're subscribed to the channel, obviously. You're on YouTube. Do you remember what we're talking about? Let me bring it up.
Diggin' Dad said, been really digging into stone tape theory lately.
Okay. So we'll watch the whole 3-minute clip, and then we'll replay the sound. Let's go here.
This is
Oh, dude.
This is not
the 60 watt in here. Oh, man, I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
Dude. Up into the nurse station yet.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
No, we have cameras pointing down at it.
I saw, well, she had that light, that flashlight. And when she
You
shot
saw it
that,
with your eyes?
Yeah, I saw it, and it kind of peeked back. It's like, what the? No. Okay. Dude.
So how far down the hall can you see with that 60 watt with the Q8?
Where the intersection is.
So the reason I'm playing this, and the reason why I'm leaning away from entertainment or just raw clips, is I want you guys to know what we were talking about and what we were doing leading up before the event. I feel like it's
dark,
valuable to know.
Because it's too diffused. It's bouncing off all the walls, and when it stops having anything bouncing off, it doesn't expose.
So this is a time where you need one.
Like
the white light that I build, you need one like that.
Yeah, I just need a fucking narrow ass beam.
I think you can still use the same lenses, but you need the flat face.
So check this out,
To
Derek.
point everything down.
I got the stereo mic running
What's up,
here, and if you go check, see how that bottom mic is down there.
Yeah. That's badass.
That's cool.
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
And you can do another mic and take it down the other opposite way if you want to. I mean,
Right there.
what the fuck was that?
I heard
I
that.
heard
too.
it.
Sure. Set up pretty sweet.
And you can do another mic and take it down the other opposite way if you want to. I mean, do another mic and take it down the other opposite way if you want to. I mean, another mic
So weird.
and take it down the other opposite way if you want to. I mean, another mic and take it down the other opposite way if you want to. I mean, what the fuck was that?
I heard that.
I heard
too.
it.
Sure.
Like something moved.
It was back here.
Okay, just be quiet.
We'll hear it one more time.
If you want to, I mean, if you want to, I mean, what the fuck was that?
I heard that.
I heard
too.
it.
Sure.
Like something moved.
It was back here.
Okay, just be quiet.
So you see Missy kind of venture off into a room. It could have been down the hall too. It's really hard to tell. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras with Zoom quality audio, and then we have another camera with Zoom audio and mics on the other end of the hall. So you hear it on all the mics, but it's the loudest on mine. I'm the one I'm carrying with my hand on my camera rig. Someone stepped on plaster.
That sound.
Right
It was in
here.
between everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't sound like a whimper to me. It sounded like I don't know, it was something like something scooting on the floor. But it was
That's so weird.
Well, you gotta be careful because you kick this tile around like this right here. I think that might be the piece Derek hit.
It could be.
but it was a higher pitched. It wasn't
Yeah, it was like
that.
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Because see, this is the hallway we were walking down. We were walking that direction when I felt which one of these come up and hit me in the foot. But I had actually kicked it, and then I saw the person in the room down there. I think that room right there before Justin's
Yeah.
laying in the floor looking.
Anyway,
They were,
that's the clip. I will copy the video URL and put it in the chat just so you guys can watch it and listen to it as many times as you want, because I would really like to know more about it. But I can't tell or distinguish any words that are, legible.
Dick and Dad said, "Oh wow, hi Christy."
Christy's on here.
Yeah. Miss your face.
Hey, Christy.
He said, "Oh wow," and then Spirit Stalker said, "I hear like, what are you doing?" And
Mhm.
they're all in agreement that it's definitely a woman's voice.
Yeah.
Carmen said, "Can you hear me?"
Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Anyway, so let me know in the chat if you use spirit boxes. Do you research with them? And are you open? What's up, Dave? Are you open to being skeptical and scrutinizing that device? And maybe let's brainstorm on ways that we can legitimize.
You posted the link to that video in YouTube, but not in Facebook.
Oops. It didn't go into Facebook?
It did not go
Oh,
on.
it won't let me comment on Facebook. So let me open it up. I will fix that. See, I need to get up my level and restream again so I can actually do all these things. Sorry.
If we're going to do all of these things,
I'm poor
we have
right
to
now.
do that.
I'm really poor right now. But I plan to fix that. Let's do this. There we go. There you go. Facebook land.
Are
has
you
it
going to
now.
win the Powerball tonight?
No, because I
You
have
call
not.
Madonna and get the numbers?
She doesn't have them. Or she would already get it. You know what I mean?
I know.
So yeah, we can talk about Ouija boards. Let me know what shift gears, what device you want to talk about next, or method. You want to talk about pendulums, dowsing rods, Ouija boards, or do you want to talk about another electronic device? Because ITC, I mean, even a voice recorder and EVP is technically ITC, especially if you're using it in real time, communication. And there's also other ITC devices that we have been researching, kind of like the Envoy. And what else? There's Paul Browning's device and REM pods. David's seen the REM pod session we had at Fairfield County. Dude, that still freaks me out.
Oh, so I was gonna message you a week. I forgot. Jeff Vent posted on Facebook that if you're in the North Hall of Fairfield County Infirmary,
Mm-hmm.
he said that's the hall the children used to play in, because I've heard them giggling a few times with my own ears. I'm like,
North Hall. Doesn't the halls go from east to west though? Or no. It is north.
Yeah.
It is north.
And
So
that was the hallway.
When you were hopping around like a weird kid.
Yeah.
I saw children there. I saw whole families there. I feel it's weird because it's hard to know the history, and it's hard to know what they are going to record and say about the history, because when I first looked at it psychically, I saw families. That was the first thing that popped out, like whole families and children. I found that like really weird. And the children up in the attic, that's, a no.
The first thing that popped up to me was the adult mentally handicapped people upstairs chained to the wall.
There was kids up there too.
Oh yeah. But they were like mentally handicapped and didn't know any better. David Wilver said wild. And he wants to talk about Ouija boards.
Dave does? Or
Dig and Dad.
Okay, so spirit boards, I've seen them being debunked, but I've heard some really crazy stories. I personally have not used them enough to know anything to debunk them, but touching something and moving around the planchette is something that I would be skeptical of. I feel like anything has the potential to do something, but you would have to prove it. You would have to do something pretty extravagant or an extraordinary to convince me that it is what it is. So the problem, go ahead.
Sorry, keep going. And then we'll move on to the next.
Oh, so, I mean, to sum it up, the problem is the ideomotor effect. That's the biggest skepticism of the Ouija board. If you don't know what the ideomotor effect is, you unconsciously move the planchette. And when you have 3 or 4 people, 2 to 4 or more people moving it, it's more susceptible to the ideomotor effect. And if you can see it move, you unconsciously can make it move to words, letters to make words, without consciously trying to. Okay? And there is a really cool episode, I forget which show it was on. If you give me a little bit, I can think about what it is. We'll watch the video. Let me look it up real quick. Cable TV show debunking Ouija board.
Darren Smith said, I think boards are just another form of communication. Just my opinion. Dig and Dad said agreed. That would be really tough to do.
I want it. What was that?
Herman, I didn't skip you, I swear. Just letting him get done with this conversation before I start the other.
Go ahead.
She said, okay, so being pendulum and dowsing rods act as the same device, sorta. Some people say they tell the spirits which way they want them to answer the question.
So say that last part again.
Which they tell, some people say they tell the spirits which way they want them to answer the question. Like the pendulum, whichever way it's swinging is how they want the spirit to answer, not how the spirit answers.
I could see why you would say that, and I would tend to believe that, you know, with the idiomotor effect in play, that's definitely possible. Keep on reading comments. I'm trying to find this because it is a perfect video to show. Just let me go back to YouTube because I think that's where I saw the clip.
Any
Yeah.
more comments? I read them all.
You read them all? Okay,
I
no
read them
problem.
all.
I just don't want there to be any.
I'm completely caught up. Well, it's like the Scrabble pieces at Madison Seminary.
Mm-hmm. You could tell that story if you want. That's kind of interesting.
We were on the public hunt at Madison Seminary last year before MadCon, and I was up in like the school wing, and they had a Scrabble board up there in the mental part of the mental asylum part of the building, and they had Scrabble pieces up there, and I spelled out 2 names. I was just in some kind of a trance, and I put these 2 names together in Scrabble pieces, and then I went over to the other side of the building, and I channeled those 2 people while I was over there.
Do you feel like the Scrabble pieces is kind of what got you started into that mode, or?
I don't know. Was it? I don't know if it was that or if it was just them telling me who I needed to or who I was going to communicate with while I was over there. I don't know.
Gotcha. All right, so I found the clip. Do you guys ready to watch it? Let's do it.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Paranormal expert Mark Edward is helping these volunteers use a Ouija board to reach out to the spirit world.
Grandpa, are you happy?
And now this woman seems to be in a deep supernatural conversation with her deceased grandfather.
Yes.
That's good.
Grandpa is happy.
Are you starting to believe?
So now how do you feel?
I don't know, it almost makes me want to cry. I'm happy that
Aw.
he's happy. I'm a believer.
More now
More
than
now.
before?
Yeah, I doubted a little bit at the beginning, but after doing it and experiencing it, like, there's no way I can doubt it now, I think.
So this
At
is a
point,
longer
we could easily
show,
let
but
these
this is
people
just
leave
a clip.
convinced they contacted the spirit world.
No way you can doubt it.
I don't think so, no.
But for our final test, we're going to have the group reach out again, only this time with a little twist.
What I have here are some blindfolds.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Surely blindfolding our participants won't make a difference to the spirits.
Okay.
Or will it?
I'm going to place the planchette in the center of the table. Now is going to be the moment of truth. Spirits, can you speak to us? Are you there? Right there? Kendall's grandpa, show us that you're with us again.
That's odd. Are the spirits drawing a blank?
You know what year he died?
Yes.
Okay. What year did you die? Right there? Okay. Here's the second number.
How do you think our new believers will react when they find out the spirits are having some technical difficulties?
The third, one more number.
We'll get to the questions here right after we watch this.
Okay.
It's not very long.
You can take your blindfolds off. Now, what year did he pass away?
2010.
So this should be conclusive evidence at this point. Now, the spirits did a fantastic job without the blindfolds, but with the blindfolds on, this is what I got when you went for the date from Grandpa, who was so clear before, right? Here's what you got. You got a J and a K, and you got 3 blanks that were on the middle of the wood. There was no numbers here, here, or here.
She looks like she just saw a ghost. So what's going on here? Before, the spirits were answering their questions perfectly. Oh. Did they suddenly forget how to spell? And if everyone swears they aren't in control,
I'm not moving it.
then who or what is moving the dial?
So that's an example of the ideomotor effect and your visual cortex doing visual cortex things. I just wanted to show you guys this is how you properly investigate claims. If you believe the Ouija board is what it's doing, you believe it's doing, you got to prove it, and that should have held up, which in fact in that portion it didn't. Go ahead and catch up with the comments.
Christy said something interesting with the dowsing rods is that they can be used to find water lines underground.
Mm-hmm.
Using them with communication, does this mean they both correlate with each other?
They can. There was a scientific study done almost 100 years ago, maybe 67 years ago, and what they found was the human body is a pretty good tool, okay? There is a long scientific explanation of how birds and insects and maybe even humans can see magnetic field lines in the Earth's magnetic field, and that's how, insects and birds and even dogs can do sun navigation and magnetic field, find true north. That's cry-4 cryptochromes. It's a protein in the eye. So there might be other organs that can sense magnetic fields or changes in the magnetic field, perturbations in the field, which is sudden changes. All right. So very sensitive people, like Christy, my wife, she's got multiple sclerosis that makes you very sensitive. Jessica Bias, so on and so forth. So there's even a book that is out there called The Ghost Studies by a buddy of mine, Brandon Masulo. Definitely should check out that book. It's on Amazon. Talks about these things. So people with dowsing rods, if they go over water, the water may change. In this scientific study I'm talking about, the water changes the magnetic field, the perturbations and the subtle changes in it will give you a little spidey, tingly sense. And what the claim is that you use the ideomotor effect, unconsciously crossing the sticks or the metal dowsing rods when you feel the field change. So you're doing it unconsciously, but your body is actually the one detecting it, not the rods. Okay, and I feel like the legitimate instances of dowsing rods during a paranormal investigation may have to do with the same thing. There might be some type of sensation or sensory input that the person is picking up on, and they're unconsciously making the dowsing rods cross. So that would definitely be a really cool scientific study people should try to do, and not just go out there with dowsing rods thinking that the ghosts are moving them, which in fact I believe the humans are moving them, but they're unconsciously sensing something, whether it's just straight up ideomotor effect or there's something else at play, like I mentioned.
And Carmen said, sorry, I doubt about Ouija boards. I've never used one, nor will ever, never know what comes through it.
Gotcha. Boy, your video feed is fuzzy. Hopefully it goes back.
I see that.
It's okay. It's your internet.
What's your view on that one, Justin?
Besides her not trusting the Ouija board,
you never know what's gonna come through a Ouija board.
That's goes. You should be cautious of that doing any of the line of work in the paranormal field. It's not just dowsing rods and Ouija boards that give, that susceptibility. It's like using your psychic senses or your abilities can do that. Missy can attest to that. Even being in locations where there might be something nefarious at play is a danger. So it's definitely not strictly involving these things that we're talking about, but they are involved. Absolutely. It's a risk that we all take.
Any ITC device, you never know what comes through it.
Yeah, I mean, even the person you think you know more than anybody can lie to you and deceive you and manipulate you. So why can't the voice on the ghost box, right?
Right.
I mean, just look at the internet, all the catfishing and all the manipulation out on there. I mean, it's just common sense. To me, it's common sense.
Yep.
Got a trickster. So, anything else? I think that me personally, I feel like nature gives me signs. Now they could be coincidences, sure, but the man witch says otherwise. And
Sure.
so, what's weird about my life is I'll think of something, or maybe I don't even know I'm doing something, and other people will tell me about it without them knowing, like my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, doing stuff in my sleep, doing stuff while I'm awake that I feel is crazy. Like I made MS symptoms disappear for years. I made Missy's acid reflux disappear for a year. Like that's weird. Okay, I know it's not ITC, but it falls in the realm of ability that we have that we don't quite understand. There's so much out there that we don't understand about our minds, about our bodies, about who we are, about consciousness. It's weird, okay? So, I know the last show we talked about the simulation theory and how all this might be some type of construct. Well, if it is, then anything's really in play. Everything's illusion anyway. People can, whatever's controlling the simulation can do whatever they want to the simulation. They can add things in, they can make things weird, or it can glitch out. But if you are sensing things that are outside the simulation, or your mind is seemingly, decoding these things, or they're not being tricked quite so much easily as most people, then that makes sense to me. It may make sense that birds can bring messages, for example. A lot of people think that crows are harbingers of death exist. They think that they have some type of connection with nature, and the nature has a connection with them, and they come along and do strange anomalous things that make you wonder, like the video of the bird landing on the woman's hand at the cemetery while she's visiting a loved one's grave. Like if you've seen that and that happened to you, you would be like, what the actual F is going on here? There is a random ass wild bird in my hand chilling out, looking at me, chirping at me, doing weird stuff. So you have to wonder what's going on there. And it's not just a one-time thing. It happens to people. It's rare, but it does happen to people. What do you think about that, Missy? Do you get signs and messages from wildlife, from nature?
Yeah.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, lately I haven't, but it's been 100 degrees, so I've had the curtains closed.
I mean, just think about you're in your mid 40s. You can go back and remember something. I mean, if you haven't, you haven't.
My pigeons outside. When the pigeons come and there's no food in the feeder, I know I'm gonna have a bad day. I that's just the way it goes. I'm gonna have a bad afternoon or a bad morning.
Why? Because there's a correlation between not giving your birds food and them giving you bad karma?
It's just the two pigeons. And they'll show up whether there's food or not, and they just hang out in the yard.
They're witch pigeons.
And I know I'm gonna have a bad day.
We've reached 100 messages in Restream. Yay!
Cool.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I feel like birds show up at weird times and they do weird things. Like the story, why there's a crow and the logo, and and our Interface Death Paranormal Research Group, something really weird happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you haven't heard the story, I can tell you guys the story. Let me know. I'm going to tell it anyway. So in 2011, my dad passes away, but like a whole week before it happened, he died abruptly. Like there was no warning. It was like out of the blue. And a week before he passed, this crow perched right on the top of the pitch of our house, right at the very end, facing the road to where the whole world can see there, right? And he would just be perched there and he wouldn't move. And he would stay there for days. Like he was just like a statue there, but it was a real bird. Okay, it was a crow. So what's really strange is he would be there when I'd go outside. I'd look up there, he'd be there. I'd be doing stuff outside, he wouldn't move. We'd leave the house, go grocery shopping or whatnot, come back, he'd still be there. The day my dad died, never seen again. So that was extremely strange to me. And ever since then, crows would come to me, they'll look at me, they'll do weird things, they'll squawk at me, and they'll leave, and then someone will die. And I'm like, is that a coincidence? What's going on there? So at work, there's this break room that's got really, really dark tinted glass. Like, you cannot see inside this thing from the outside unless you have really bright lights on, which we don't. It's always dim, and it's really bright outside. Birds will come down and land right where I'm sitting and look into a glass and stare at me. And I'm like, how do they see me? And why are they looking at me? That kind of stuff. Let me know if you have experienced that, because I feel like it's weird. It's weird to me. So when Missy says that she thinks the birds are doing something, who am I to say they're not? Because I think birds are doing weird shit to me too. Am I right? I don't know.
Well,
It
like
all
the
may be.
chicken. Like the chicken next door. That one chicken that got pecked, that lost his eye. You're like, he is mean as hell. Don't touch him. And I'm like, okay. So I go outside and I'm sitting on the stoop, and this chicken comes up from the next door neighbor's yard. And he sits right next to me.
Chilling.
And he lays his head down, like, yeah, he was just chilling. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Digging Dad said, nothing weird about it, brother. The universe works in some strange ways.
Especially if it's the Matrix. Especially then. If it's a simulation, which even scientists believe that, there's supporting evidence of it. So, well, I mean, that just gives rise to all kinds of weird stuff to be allowed. Poor thing got mauled by a dog or something. We just talking about him. Yeah. Oh, one-eyed Willie, he gone.
Aww.
Mm-hmm. I think it's Missy's fault.
It's not my fault. I haven't been there in like 2 months.
2 months? You've been here more recently than that.
I don't know.
Maybe a month, I don't know. Maybe it is 2 months. Fuck, I don't know. But again, we'll go back to it. Is ITC legitimate? Well, it all depends on how you investigate it. It all depends on what you do to eliminate the flaws of human perception and the methods that you're using. So I urge people who are watching this live, people who are watching it in post, please do your due diligence on trying to figure out if you're duping yourself or if there's a major flaw in the method that you're using. Okay? If you're turning on a ghost box and then just spitting out random stuff, it's going to spit out random stuff no matter if you ask it questions or not. And if you ask it questions, your brain is going to try to interpret what comes out as answers. You need to figure out if these things that are coming out of the spirit box are anomalous, and that's not easy. But I have a way. I have it on my YouTube channel. I gotta find it. It's very long. It's very techy. I'm sorry, but there is a way to do it. You're welcome, Carmen. We try our hardest to do a good job of being very serious researchers and investigators when it comes to this stuff, because our belief drives us, but our desire to know the truth is the most predominant factor in it all. Okay, so at the end of the day, if I find zero proof of what I believe is true, then I have to seriously question what my beliefs are.
Dig and Dad ask, would you consider EVPs a part of that?
Yes. EVP, especially real-time EVP, is ITC. When you're listening to EVPs, if your recorder isn't very high quality and it's got a lot of noise in it and you're trying to interpret those noises, you're boosting it up, you're messing with the EQ, you're just as susceptible to false positives and pareidolia as you are a spirit box or anything else. Maybe someone can explain why I'm getting pictures in my mind now when I haven't before. Why it is a come and go. So what you want to do is take note of the images that you're seeing and test. You want to test. What I've been doing with Missy and Jessica is testing them. Not because I think they're full of crap, just because I want to know how accurate they are, how it works. I already know psychic phenomena is real. Like, I am convinced 100% that it's real. Some people are very good. Some people are fake. Is anybody 100% accurate? No. Absolutely not. No one's perfect. No one's 100% accurate. I don't care if they claim that they're 100% accurate. Please do not fool for that. Okay? I want to say my mother is probably anywhere 75 to 85% accurate. And that's ridiculously high. Ridiculously high. Okay? She has been wrong, but she's more right than she's wrong. Okay? And that's put under very strict circumstances. Like taking the woman to a location she's never been, not knowing why she's there, and being handed a photo and then being told who the names of the people that are there and getting 3 out of 4 of them right is mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing, okay? Like, she's repeated that. She's repeated it, okay? So, it is real to me. It is real. But the images, Carmen, you need to take note of them and test. Have someone testing you to tell you if they are real. If you doubt them, or if you want to find some third-party legitimacy to what you're experiencing, work with someone like me in a controlled way, and you will find out how accurate you are, or if there's anything, to the images. It can be done, but you need help. It's easier if you have help.
She said we were learning Reiki in my group, and when I had my eyes closed, I saw large white feathered wings like from an angel.
That's normal. That's normal. That a lot of people see that during Reiki. They see higher angelic beings. I've seen them. It's not like a common thing, but it does happen. So, yeah. Try to find ways to find out if you can find correlations or find ways to, legitimize what you're seeing. It can be done. I promise to put out more video production of these things, but you can look back on our YouTube content and find how I do things, like with Jazz, with Missy, and of course my mom. She is getting older and her health is declining, and it's really hard for me to involve her in the research I do. But while she was doing relatively good, it was very fascinating, the results that I had and the experiences we've had.
She said, but I've never had images like that before.
Right. So when you're doing energy work, you're doing things that you don't normally do. And what you are doing is your body becomes a conduit of energy that you normally don't channel to this degree. When you do Reiki, you're channeling energy like, a laser channels light into a concentrated area. And when you do that, you start dealing with higher vibrational entities. And a lot of people see them as angelic. But what you want to be careful is seeing them as a certain way does not necessarily mean that that's how they are. That's not their base identity. We see things, we augment what we see a lot. Like we interpret. We're comparison interpret machines. So when we're picking up on something like that, we may see an angel because that's the closest thing we can relate to it.
It is, Christy. We should go find us a good Reiki master to do Reiki on us.
Please, will you? Please. That would be wonderful. That would be great. Find me one too while you're at it.
We had one. He just quit on us.
Find me one, okay?
I'll find you one if you find me one.
The most important thing, I know we're kind of off or digressing, get off subject, but whatever. It's still paranormal. Reiki is strange and weird, okay? So, what was I going to say about it? I totally lost train of thought.
We'll do Reiki on you, Justin, Christy said.
It's, you have, I know what I was going to say. You have to be willing to accept it and be open to it for it to be beneficial. Because if you have any kind of conscious or unconscious resistance to it, it's not going to do anything.
Right.
Even if it's fear or even
Herman
if you're nervous.
said, I just did one lesson with one of my team I'm on. It was interesting.
Yeah, there are a lot of people out there, I don't get into the whole training and Reiki Master stuff. I think that you can get trained, but all the people that I've seen practicing Reiki around me, I wouldn't do Reiki on me. Now, there's a few people that I would definitely work with, but I haven't seen them in person, except for one. I would be open to letting one person I know do it, but
You're going to name drop here, Justin.
I'm not going to name drop. I try not to. I mean, I don't want to. I feel awkward because then the people might like, oh, so and so said so and this and that and blah blah blah. I don't want. You know what I'm saying. I don't want to do that. But if I go pursue that, I would know there's a very small group of people that I would work with.
You would not let me do Reiki on him.
I wouldn't be against it.
You won't let me drive you down the street, but you'd let me
That's
do
not
Reiki on
different.
you?
That's totally different. I'd let you drive me down the street, but at 4 a.m. in the dark, in the rain, while we're all tired, probably not, because we've been down that road, Missy, haven't we?
Yeah.
But if we're going to Walmart, you can drive. That's totally fine.
Christy said, I'll tell you what, someone made some nasty stuff go away from me.
Christy, someone made nasty stuff go away from Christy?
Yeah.
Oh, is she talking about the MS stuff like I was talking about before?
Yeah.
She looked at me all weird. She's never looked at me like that before.
I looked at you like that too. I thought I was dying of heartburn, and then I sat up, and you're like, your stomach was on fire. It was burning. Like, what?
Yeah, you're probably like, yeah, I know. I've been feeling it for like ever.
Right?
Duh.
She said,
No
yep,
shit.
MS hugs.
Mm-hmm. They're slowly trying to work their way back. I feel like when I'm ready, I'll get back into it, but now's not the time.
The time has to be before August the 23rd.
I'm already preparing for that.
Okay.
We'll be out in the woods, and there'll be very few distractions. I've already got something prepared for that.
Okay.
And you
I'm
best be
ready.
fucking ready, because Because.
I have been ready.
All right.
And-
Well,
And just so you know, we haven't been to your house since May the 6th.
okay, I'm wrong. I don't know. Time's going by so fast.
You were here on Memorial Day, but we haven't been there since May
Okay.
6th.
That's like I've seen you, you know, it hasn't been 2 months since I've seen you guys, so.
right.
Any other questions? I'm starting to I think I've made my point. So when it comes to electronic devices, we've, you know, kind of narrowed down what the brain does. The huge thing I'm against is allowing paranormal TV shows that are basically entertaining you. They're not trying to teach you real ways to investigate these claims and these types of phenomena. They're not really doing that, okay? They are sensationalizing something that is probably, if not fully 100% false, okay? Do not do what's on TV. Most of us have already made that mistake. Do not worship paranormal TV celebrities. Do not look up to them. I'm telling you. The real paranormal researchers are not on paranormal TV.
Christy said, yes, in the woods.
Now, documentaries and education-based shows, okay. Not
Carmen-
Travel Channel.
Carmen said, I wonder, since my latest surgery that I had, that now these events happen more, and I believe when people go through trauma, it may help them with their investigations.
I don't know. I mean, there might be some interesting correlations with anesthesia, but other than that, I don't know. Toby loves the woods. Me too, Toby. Me too. I find Hocking County and that whole state park super relaxing. Dude, my kids cried when Derek told us that the other night. I'm sorry, Derek. I shouldn't have said that.
No, say it.
I was like, no, the kids, they're really looking forward to it. Derek will be their favorite person probably forever after that. Yeah. So hopefully that is going to be some well-needed relaxation and rest that we all need. I plan to soak in water until I melt into it.
Hopefully Dad comes through surgery all right, and I could go.
You're going regardless. You're going regardless. Sorry.
I already made Casey take off on the 24th, so he is going to take care of them.
That's right. He can take one for the team.
Yep, he's doing it this time. And now it'll be 2 adults and 2 dogs, so he'll be fine.
So, we have... Are you and Derek coming with me to the Ripley Library the 29th?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Josh won't be able to drive the 4 hours or whatever it is to come there. But if he wants to, he can. But I figured that it'd be a pretty long drive just for a couple hour chat at the library.
Right.
But I just wanted to make sure that you guys were planning to do that so I can plan accordingly. I feel like 2 hours. Hopefully, it don't take more than 2 hours.
Right.
I'm planning on. Mm-hmm.
You're planning on what?
I'm planning on doing, a pretty in-depth presentation. Basically like one of her shows, but it's more show and tell.
Okay. Fine.
So yeah, if you are in the Southern Ohio, Northern Kentucky area, I will be at the Ripley Public Library on July 29th at noon. And
Thanks, Dick and Dad.
Hey man, thanks for stopping by. If you don't mind, throw up a subscribe to the channel, man. It helps out. I don't know if I've remembered that account on YouTube. I wonder what brought him to the channel. He might be already subscribed. Let me know if you're already subscribed. So, What now, Missy? I think I've exhausted everything. Now, if we go on we bring up the YouTube channel.
He said too far north.
Too far north. Let's see if we can bring up a something crazy, something nuts.
Hi,
Video.
Philip. How are you?
Which Philip do we got?
Philip Gibson,
Oh, hi, Philip. What's up, buddy?
our fellow Bengals fan.
Yep, our fellow Bengals fan. What's been going on in Mr. Gibson's world?
He'll be next. California appearances? No, that's too far for us.
Maybe one day when we got money just to throw to an airline to fly out there. I would love to go out. I would love to travel and make appearances and do events.
He said who day?
Do you guys remember a live show that we caught like a crystal clear EVP?
Yeah, it was Soapbox.
Let me type one in the chat if you want to hear that again, if you've not heard that. I've forgotten all about that, and I'm looking at my videos, and I'm like, that was weird.
Yeah. We still don't know where it came from either.
I'm gonna play it anyway.
No, that was Soapbox. No, it wasn't Soapbox.
So during the first live episode of Interface Death Weekly, it was the first Interface Death Weekly.
Right.
We captured a crystal clear EVP that is bone chilling. Let us know what you think. Link to the live show is in the description, blah, blah, blah. So check this out. I forgot about this. It should start in just a minute.
Spirit Stalker Afterlife said he tried to donate in the stream tab, but he doesn't think it went through.
PayPal?
I think so.
Did you donate through PayPal? Because I can verify that.
Yeah, it's outside my house.
Okay, cool.
You walk across the street and down the alley, and the train tracks are right there.
Well, at least you're on the right side of the tracks.
Who did you say
Right.
donated?
Okay, cool.
You walk across the street and down the alley, and the train tracks are right there.
Okay, cool.
You walk across the street and down the alley, and the train tracks are right there.
What was that, dude? So, me, Bill, nor Missy heard this. But the chat did. And when I went back and replayed it, I'm like, what's going on? First time it's ever happened, last time it's ever happened, dude. Phil,
We've done
tell me
a
what
lot
you
of
think.
live shows.
Dude, we've done hundreds of live shows. And it's we use professional, mid-grade consumer. I mean, I'm using a nice mic there. Bill's using a Rode mic. Missy's using a Samsung, vocal mic. I mean, we're using good mics. And
He said, "Whoa." I think so.
Did you donate through
that's-
PayPal?
that's
Because I
train?
can verify that.
Yeah, it's outside my house. Carmen said,
Okay,
"Male
cool.
voice, Grandma." You walk across the street and down the alley, and
Look
the
at
train
your little
tracks are right
face.
there.
Well, at least you're on the right side of the tracks.
a little
Who did you
face.
say
Right.
donated?
On the show
Okay, cool.
at night. You walk across the street and down the alley, and the train tracks are right there. Cleanly shaven.
Okay, cool.
You walk across the street and down the alley, and the train tracks are right there.
That's clearly Grandma.
Mhm.
That's weird. It's just weird. I just think it's freaking crazy. Like, it's crazy to me. I don't understand. Why would a child whisper? There you go. It's a whisper. They're whispering, Grandma. Like, it's crazy. I wish that I had your face up on the screen, because that would have proved that it wasn't your voice either. Because me and Bill, you could see us. We're not saying it.
Right.
I don't know, Carmen. You tell me why. It's completely random. completely. I don't get it. I'm pretty damn sure Heath was there because he's watched a lot of them.
Arn said, I don't remember who said it in the chat then, but I heard it as well.
I wish that happened every show. That'd be great. That'd be great. Let's see what else we can dig up on the old YouTube channel. Yeah, it was weird. I got a 2-hour-long documentary that had some weird captures in it, but I don't want to scrub through it. Here's one from the Rhodes Hotel. Whoops, my bad.
Can I come in, Jess? I'm trying to get your facial expressions.
I don't know why in this room I'm hearing the train.
I just heard something.
I have to jack it up, I think, in the replay.
It feels like it's train. Non-stop. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey guys, it's Justin Brown here with Interface Death, and I'm bringing you a video clip with some very interesting audio. This is going to be showcased in our very first episode of Season 6 at Rhodes Hotel. But I'm going to release this early because I want it peer-reviewed. I want this to be apart from the video production we do creatively about real events that occur, but I want the stuff in our videos to be more peer-reviewed. I don't subtitle what I think is said if we capture audio.
Except for the grandma one, because it was clear.
Audio stuff, so we're going to upload this before the episode comes out, and I want to get some feedback. This is very interesting to me. I believe that if this is paranormal and this did come from an entity that resides at the Rhodes Hotel or was there at the time we were there, it may have tried to communicate with Jessica again. I believe that that's the case, but I want to know what you guys think. We're going to take a quick look at this piece of audio. I did show you the full unedited raw clip of the video with the audio not tampered with, and what we're going to take a look at is this small section where it occurs. So we're looking at a spectrum of -69 all the way up to -80 dB, -82 dB, right in the 100 to 60 spectrum in decibels. So it's low. It's in the white noise, but I do believe the voice goes above that. And we're looking at right around, if you look at the frequency, 90 hertz to almost 1600 hertz. So that to me, it's low. It's a lower frequency. I'm going to play it. Let me know what you think. Okay, let me let you see the analysis one more time. Okay, we're going to turn this up. See, we can get the audio, the boost up a little bit. We got echo, we got reverb, chorus. I used to use this program, but I'm not as familiar with it now, so I'm going to have to audio gain. One
Can't
more
make
time.
that out, but not quite as loud.
Okay. Take that away.
I'm hearing the train.
It's low, but it definitely sounds like a voice. See what else we can dig up.
Meanwhile, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Toby Nixon wanted to know, what do you think about modern necromancy?
Can you give me an example of what you're talking about? I'm not sure I know what modern necromancy is.
He said and then he said I wrote a book called Notebook of the Necromancer.
I think Toby, are you the one that sent me your book on necromancy?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Now that I remember. Let's see here. Who says no?
Yes.
Okay. What I think about it, it should be investigated and legitimized through methodical, investigation. Should try to use scrutiny and science. You should try to, take any amount of confirmation bias, belief out of it. And I know the small things that I did look at the book that you sent me, there are esoteric stuff in it. There are things that I do believe are legitimate, but I have not rigorously, methodically tested these all out. But I do believe that there a lot of things are legitimate in the occult. Okay, it has been for years, and I've just had a crazy life full of experiences that deal with that, and can't ignore them. Can't ignore their possible legitimacy.
So, while you are talking, I would like to tell you what happened to me all day. All day, I have had like this muscle pull in the top of the back of my leg. And in this hour and a half, it's gone.
Okay.
And I've done everything I could think of to get rid of it today. And it's gone.
So you're saying that being on the show has made it go away?
Dustin, weird things happen when I talk to you.
That you don't tell me about?
Well, like, cramps go away, my headache goes away.
Well, that's good then.
Right? But if I had known that, I'd have called you at like 3 o'clock this afternoon because it hurt really bad. I don't know.
Maybe you just doing the show is taking your mind off of it. Maybe that's all it takes.
I don't know. I couldn't even walk up. I had a hard time walking up the stairs.
Did you crawl up the stairs?
No, I didn't crawl. I just
you could have lied and said, yes,
ass.
I crawled, and I would have laughed.
I just scooted up on my butt. On the other cheek.
There's a lot of stuff that we've captured on the YouTube channel. Unfortunately, without looking forever, you would have to go through the actual documentaries and videos that we've produced to look at them. But feel free to. I mean, Interface Death YouTube channel. It's right there. If you're not on YouTube, I will put it on Facebook right now. Right now. And a lot of our stuff's on our Interface Death Facebook page, too. If you do not want to go on YouTube for whatever reason, you don't have to.
Misty said, shoot, I would have scooted down your stairs on my butt if I could.
I don't like your stairs, so.
I don't want to either.
Your stairs suck, especially if you're old, fat, or have no knees. Whatever the case may be, they're not cool.
When Penelope hurt her back, she the vet asked me, we asked the vet if she could do stairs, and she said no, not for about, well, she said how many stairs, and I'm like, about 20, and she's like, oh my, why would you move into a house with 20 stairs? I'm like, that's my child's room and I only walk them once a week. She goes, oh, I see.
So yeah, there you go. She only goes upstairs, but just to be on the live show. I think that's the only time she goes, unless she has to store something or put something away.
Or I'm cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I can scoot up on my butt, so it doesn't.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I'm looking forward to going out and to Aurora and doing all the stuff we want to do.
Yeah, I have to. Well, I want to drive up Main Street in the car with with a camera on the dash.
For B-roll or?
Mm-hmm. I want to come off of George Street Bridge and just drive right up the hill.
Right up that hill.
Right up that hill.
Oh, where Varistelle is, or?
Where Hill Forest is.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait till we start doing drone photography. That's going to be cool. I really hope we at least get to photograph and take video of Varistelle. But I got what I wanted. I got Hill Forest, or you guys got it for me, so. But now I'm greedy. Now I want it all.
You want it all.
Yeah, there's cool places, and I know you and Derek has told me stories about how active it is around the town, but I did not truly understand for myself until I went down there. And
Keith said, "What about the time Justin's mom heard the heads bouncing down the stairs at Monroe House?"
Mm-mm. That's
you like
nuts.
that clip?
Yeah, it is super interesting, but a part of me doesn't want stuff like that to be real. And the reason I don't is not because of my own well-being, but because I have children and I have people that I don't want to get messed with. And that terrifies me. You know, when I deal with cases that are rare, but there's a couple cases I have dealt with stuff that likes to go for the mob mentality. That's what I truly fear, is them messing with my kids or messing with my investigators. You know, we've been the locations where I was genuinely concerned about my investigators. You know, it is a true legitimate fear of mine. You know, 'cause
when I had the 2 attachments from Octagon Hall. And
yeah, that's probably the one that I regret the most. Because you would ask me, it's like, should I let these in? I'm like, yeah, go for it. Like it's basically my fault. The way I see it. Because, I mean, you came to me and you wouldn't ask me if you weren't, like, timid about it. Like, you kind of knew that it probably wasn't a good idea, but you were going to ask anyway.
Right. But I thought, if Justin says it's okay, I'm gonna, you know.
Well, I mean, there's the oops, I should have looked into it more. But then there's you really don't know until you find out. Like, part of learning and investigating these matters is being affected in the first place and learning from those experiences. You didn't die. Fortunately, you didn't die, or no one died, or no one really suffered any permanent damage, or,
right.
You know. So that's good. But that place, I don't understand why that would be there. Like, what? I don't know. It did feel odd and weird to me. That place felt weird. Like like there was something going on that the tour didn't inform us about. I did have that feeling.
Yeah.
But in my defense, I wasn't completely aware of your abilities, and neither were you.
Right.
So we were both ignorant to the situation. We know better now.
I didn't blame you for it.
I told you that it was okay.
I know.
I told you that it was okay.
But I still didn't blame you for it.
Go ahead and read Phillips or anybody else.
He said because affecting the cavities above the vocal cords, pharyngeal, oral, nasal changes both level and frequency spectrum of our voices. Do you believe that changing them to certain frequencies could generate more EVP interaction? I hope I explained it clear enough.
Because affecting the cavities above. Did he say something else before that?
I don't think so.
Let me go back and chat
See.
and look.
Nope.
He didn't. I don't
Nope.
think he did. So, because affecting the cavities above the vocal cords, or oral, nasal changes both level and frequency spectrum of our voices. Do you believe that changing them to certain frequencies could generate more EVP interaction? I hope that. So, just changing the pitch of your voice is essentially what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm open to the possibility, but I have not tested it yet. I've heard some people say that they have done experiments to where higher pitched noises do get more responses. That's kind of why they kind of gravitate towards children, because their voices are higher. So I have heard about that in the research and in the literature, but I don't know firsthand. You could be onto something there when on the higher range. So if you ever get back into it, Philip, that's where I would start, is in the higher range. Women's range, children's range, vocal range. I would start there.
Carmen asked, what do you feel is the scariest place you've been? I know my answer, and he said, okay, awesome.
Scary. No, the Monroe House is definitely likes to mess with my psyche. And there are times where it does a very good job at doing the scare factor thing. As far as me actually being scared to confront it, no. It's not like true legitimate fear, but it's on the cusp of it. So the Monroe House is one. Two, it also depends on the person too. It's not like that for everybody. Two would probably have to certain places in Waverly Hills, like the 4th floor, in the dark by yourself. Yes, it is creepy AF. And ISS and Hillview Manor, there's certain places in there that are up there. Because at Hillview Manor, things rush you and things touch you and things mess with you and so on and so forth. It's pretty scary, okay, when that happens. ISS, Lee Allen Bryant building is up there. It's very creepy. And the tunnels at night are creepy. It's a creepy place, just aesthetically and at night. So those are my answers. Like, my 3 would be Monroe House, Hillview Manor, and Indiana State Sanitarium. Now, there's other places, sure, that are creepy, but I'm having a hard time deciding between those 3 what's scarier. What's your answer, Missy?
I think it was Hillview Manor.
Why?
Because
it's not a straightforward answer, is it?
no, it's not. The upstairs of Monroe House was scarier than the downstairs. You have to admit that one.
2nd floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hillview Manor, they came at you. They rushed you so fast that my brain could not commute or, compute what was going on. Like, they're coming at you from everywhere and you don't know, who's going to reach first, who's going to,
Yeah, I totally get it. Toby sings during exorcisms. What do you sing? Out of curiosity, just like you hum, or is there a certain song? Carmen says, I get touched no matter where I go, especially now that I get static charges around me. That's pretty common. I've definitely had my fair share of the tingly sensations. It kind of ranges from spider webs to full out like electricity feeling. Pretty interesting. I have my theories about what that is, but I need more data. Mine was the Monroe house. We stayed 2 nights back in March. Night 1 was active, but not negative. Night 2 was just completely off the charts. Now, I know you've said that, I'm pretty sure it was you, Philip, that says that you didn't buy in or subscribe to the Monroe house being dark or negative. But it sounds like you've had a negative experience. If you have elaborated on a video or a live stream, let me know. I'll go back and look at it. Or please feel free to elaborate a little bit on what your experience was in the comments, if you would, because I'm curious. Because, dude, there are things to be concerned about the Monroe house. Now, you can shield yourself from them, of course, and you could be fine. But if you allow yourself to open up and experience it, you better be prepared for that. Depends. I sing to vibrate positive vibes. Makes sense. I went to Burlington Prison and something touched the left side of my neck, like a light felt a hand and was nothing there. Then my whole body got cold in the back. Definitely experienced that. Whether something's actually touching you, I don't know, but I've definitely felt like I have been touched before. Yep, the Monroe house is up there. Like, I'll be trying to sleep, and that place will creep into my mind and start talking to me like it's an actual entity. It's strange. And
I see the thing upstairs.
What's upstairs?
How can I describe this?
It likes to take on the whole demon persona, like the whole evil, negative persona.
Yes.
It loves to play off of that. It's definitely, if that's what people are wanting to experience, or if that concerns the group or the person that is being affected.
Right. I don't even know how to say it. Like, you know, the 3-headed dragon that they depict in movies.
Mm-hmm.
This has got one head. I didn't like the kitchen and the darker room on the first floor of the Monroe house.
The blue room.
Mm-hmm. Christy said that. And it chased me and Clayton down that hallway. And I'm like, we need to go down the stairs. We need to get down on the landing now. And the minute I jumped down from the landing, I slammed the door. And I could hear it whimpering. He was like, what did we just do? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm leaving. And we left. He said
it was just you two?
Yeah.
See you, Toby.
Philip said, I've never been negatively affected, but teammates have. The downstairs kitchen has been absolutely insane active, but not when someone is present. I'm in the room. Once you shut the door, it goes berserk.
I've really not captured a whole lot in the kitchen when I've been there for some reason. But upstairs has been the most active for me as far as capturing stuff. But there is definitely something to the kitchen.
Actually, I don't think we were there alone. I think Joe was with us.
I'd definitely like to go back and do more research there. But a lot of people have negative experiences there. and there could be reasons for that. But
Captured a 15-second clip of a full-on baby whining in the downstairs kitchen on August 1st of 2021 around 2 p.m.
baby whining. Yeah, Philip, if you ever go back, I urge you to record where your investigators are and where yourself is while you're recording these voices in the kitchen. And I know when I set up recorders and leave the house, I get a lot of audio contamination from outside. It is not the most quiet place to do recordings. But I would like to see a synced recording of you and your team while these voices are occurring, and I would love to listen to voice recorders or cameras on the outside of the house while these voices are happening on the inside. I rarely see people do that when they're investigating inside of a town. So give it a thought.
The town that we're getting ready to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
We won't have to do that at really any location.
Oh, we're going to. For sure. Especially, like, cars. Like, they got me an Octagon Hall because that one time I thought I heard a growl was a damn truck exhaust.
Yeah. But it's pretty far off the street. Pretty well up on hill.
Nah, it's not far enough. It's not far enough for me, so you just put a recorder out there and just cross-check it with the voices inside. The kitchen at the Monroe house, you damn near have to turn off the fridge, and because the fridge makes a lot of noise.
He said I placed recorders on the outside of the house as well.
Did you listen to them synced up with the voices in the kitchen? That would be what I want to know. Alcatraz, I went inside one of the cells, kind of made me feel uncomfortable. I would love to go there.
Oh.
I mean, that place is completely surrounded by the bay. That'd be cool.
Can you imagine the noise contamination in there after dark, though?
From the water? Or
the water and the wind and...
Sure. But you can do some things to cut down on that. Or you can just pick a night that's not so windy. Be aware of the hills there are steep. At Alcatraz? Huh. I could see there being hills there. What's your top bucket list place to go, Missy? Like, we're trying to find hot spots to investigate the paranormal. What would be your choice?
We were invited a couple of times, but I want to go to Penhurst.
Mm-hmm. That's a good answer. Anywhere else?
There's a penitentiary. There's a penitentiary in Weston, West Virginia. I don't want to go there.
Why?
I don't know.
Because
it looks like a cool place.
Fair enough. I want to go to Egypt.
I know.
I want to go to the tombs and the pyramids. I want to go to, like, ancient civilizations. Because if they got a story to tell, if any place has a story to tell, or if walls could talk, those would be the places I'd go.
Last Saturday morning on, like, the world news, they were talking about Caesar's the place of his death. and they've unearthed it, and it's in the middle of this city, and they've like roped off this whole big room that he was in when he got killed. And it's just there in the middle of this city that you can just walk into and explore and walk back out.
That's interesting. Philip wants to go to Trans-Allegheny.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm. But would the spirits be speaking English or Arabic?
In Egypt.
I would say they would probably speak, depends on the time period. They're speaking a different language back in the days of the pharaohs and when the pyramids were built than what they do now in Egypt. But I would feel like maybe you would get both those languages. I just want to go there just to experience it. Probably will never get the chance to investigate any of these places. It's just not realistic, but I just want to go there. But, bucket list to investigate for me. I don't know anymore. Yes, I haven't been to Penhurst or Trans-Allegheny. I haven't been to the one down in Virginia. Help me out here. The one that Lyle and Brandon go to all the time.
St. Albans.
St. Albans. I want to go there. I think it's in Illinois that Malvern Manor, I think it's called.
Okay, yeah.
I wouldn't mind checking out the Sally House just to see. I would just want to see if it's similar to the Monroe House. I would love to go back to House of Wills. Place is nuts. I want to see what it looks like now. Ancient castles in Ireland. Yeah, I was about ready to go there, dude. Some friggin' mansions and manors and castles in Ireland would be nuts to go to.
Herman said Lizzie Borden House.
Have no desire to go there.
Nope.
But don't have a desire to go there. I don't have a desire to go to the Villisca. Don't have a desire to do that. The places that really excite me are ancient civilizations. But there are a few places that I want to go check out just to, try to cross-check them with others to see if they're very similar. Hospitals, asylums, prisons.
What about Vlad's Castle in Romania?
I would definitely love to go check it out, but I'd never get a chance to investigate it. But if I could, I would.
I think they offer investigations there.
I tell you, one of my top places to want to actually investigate that you can't is Gettysburg, like the battlefields. What?
Grounded Paranormal got to Gettysburg on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And they book this little farmhouse on the battlefield. And they investigate the battlefields.
Uh-oh.
But they're allowed to be on the battlefield because that's where their house is.
Well, okay. I see how that's allowed. That's fine.
So
they get anything?
They investigate for 3 days, and then they go to the hotel, check in, and then they do the bash.
Nice. So is this place anybody can book? Because I definitely want to check it out.
I think so, yeah.
Because the KOA was definitely interesting, but that's got too much contamination to really do justice. But I feel like the battlefields at Gettysburg would be definitely a hot spot. Moundsville. Definitely been there, dude. It's definitely a place to go check out. West Virginia State Penitentiary. You got the Archive of the Afterlife. This super strange Steve Hummel's museum is super strange. Yeah, it's a cool place. Heath, have you ever been there? Definitely cool. That's basically like a lot of places in southern Ohio and the area where there's mounds. For sure. We got 5 minutes left. Does anybody else have any places in Oregon too? Like what places? If anybody else has any questions, speak now, forever hold your peace. Yeah, I'm getting pretty tired. Got one more day of work. Next week's going to be hell. I don't know if I'll be able to do a live stream. I'll be working 10, 12-hour shifts, but I will try my hardest to do it. Any closing thoughts or statements, Missy? No. All right, friends. Thank you for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to be trying to get this show back on Necromancer Live Show's Facebook page, but it's gonna take a little bit. I'm gonna try to change the graphics, make them better, do a upgraded intro. I'm very partial to the intro that I have, but I'm gonna make a new one regardless. But yeah, we're gonna keep this up, friends. Thank you very much for your support. I will let you guys know if we're going live next week. You guys have a good evening, and stay safe out there. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next time. Before we do that, I got this button I can push. Here's our socials. I also link these in the video description, so if you haven't checked out our website or social media platforms, please do so. It's much appreciated. And patrons, Clay Borman, Deadlight LLC, Josh Bender, Heath Edwards, Tony Felosi, and Gina Rutledge, superstars. Thank you very much for your support. Couldn't do it without you. See you next time.